Hi, this is McLaughlin. This is my reflective vlog. This year I'm doing my reflective vlog a tiny bit differently from last year. Last year it was primarily on my website. It was just a written text. I'll give you some samples here so you can just get a bit more of an image. It was written both my FMP and my main website, whereas this year, as I'm specialising in editing, I've decided to do it in more of a video format. This has many advantages. One, I get to improve my editing, because obviously this will be edited. I'll show you. This is on a green screen right now, so I'm adding images, stuff like that. Two, I think it's just more visual, makes it a bit more interesting. And three, I'm just a big fan of editing, so I thought it would just be a bit more fun. I'll show some behind the scene pictures of how I'm doing this, but basically I've just got a light here, I've got my green screen, and I've got a camera with a microphone on it, and this is how I basically do it. I think as time goes by I'll probably improve my craft and how I do this, but this is kind of my basic setup at the moment. So what is a reflective log? So the reflective log is going to kind of work by, I'll go down each day. So I'm in college Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. I'll say what I've done, what went well, what didn't go too well, and then at the end I'll just kind of give an overall wrap up and a target I'll set myself, and then next week, when we get to next week, I'll go, well, I'll set myself a target and review last week's target. Friday's probably going to be the biggest day, to be honest, because that's the day when I'm in the most, so that I have the most information. Some weeks, like when we're filming, especially last year where I learnt my FMPs, it takes a couple of days to film. I may just put days together to make it a bit easier. So let's just jump into the first day of my college year 2 experience, and that's Wednesday. Okay, so Wednesday was kind of like the first day, so it's kind of like getting to know the course, getting to know what we're kind of be doing. We did start a lot of kind of work that would kind of trickle over into the week, but I'll start talking about it now. So the first thing we started looking at was analysis of websites, like portfolio websites, because the biggest part of year 2 is going to be setting up a production company, and we had to research into web portfolio websites. I think this was throughout the week probably my weakest area. So I always had problems with more written tasks. Firstly, it found a lot to find portfolio sites. I had a slight advantage on doing editing, and it's much more of a kind of easier websites to find, but I did find it kind of difficult, especially kind of how can I extract information from there. I think I've done pretty well, but I'll be honest, I think I need to add some more detail. And similar to that analysis part, we looked at show reels. So a show reel is basically it's kind of like a quick cut of your work to kind of show people in like a nice fun pace. And I obviously looked at editors showed reels, and I also found that difficult to kind of suck information from that, so I'd say that's the main area. But overall I think that whole activity is pretty interesting, kind of taught me a lot about how to set up portfolio pieces and how to kind of set up show reels and stuff like that. The next thing we done was we actually created our show reel. So what we done was, I'll show some pictures. We filmed an intro in front of a green screen. This was kind of just a basic intro saying, hey, my name's McLaughlin, I'll be specialised in editing, and then we cut the kind of fun sizzle reel. I did have a slight problem with this. When I got the footage from the computer, I think I accidentally put it in my downloads file on the college computer, and when it came down to editing it, because I'd done this like a couple of days later, the downloads file deleted because every day it gets wiped, so I had to actually rescreen it with my green screen at home. Now, this obviously created a kind of a problem, because I had to reshoot, stuff like that, but I think the green screen looked better, so it worked out in the best. But again, it just taught me a lesson that, make sure to not put it in the downloads, make sure, save on SCD, stuff like that. I think the show reel, I'm pretty good at editing, I really enjoyed it. I think it went pretty well. I decided to go with more kind of punky kind of music, just because it fit my tone of my first year. So it was like a clip kind of cuts of my first year films. I think that went really well. And similar to the show reel is a portfolio piece. Portfolio piece is slightly different and actually much easier to edit. It's basically just scenes from your movie ripped out from your movie. So it's like a scene, for example, I'd done the night shift, and the night shift was cut down to 5 days. So I just took a day from the night shift to show an edit, and that's basically our portfolio piece work. That was pretty easy to edit, to be honest. That took me about 20 minutes, just kind of finding the movies and stuff like that. I done 3 because I thought a lot of my earlier movies, I'm gonna be honest, aren't up to my high standard. I don't really want to show them off, so I decided to go with the night shift, the forest, and the man, kind of starting ending showing the forest kind of weak, but you kind of put that in the middle. I thought that went pretty well. And then finally this is kind of transferring over from our summer work. We set up our site. So we had our main site. That's going to be like our portfolio side. It's like a digital CV, so like we can send it to employers like that, as work, as contacts, our production companies, Minds Well Productions, and then we have more of our college work. So there's going to be college work, stuff like that, all that kind of stuff. So overall, I think this day went pretty well. A lot of this work I did mention before trickles over on a Thursday and Friday because it's quite a bit of work. I think I found the written stuff more difficult than the kind of editing stuff. So it's something I need to work on. But overall, I think it was a good start today. I really understand what's going on with the course and stuff like that. And I think it's really interesting. So next we'll go into the second day. That is the shortest day, so we have less work. And that is Thursday. So as mentioned before, Thursday is kind of the weaker day, just because we're only in for, I think, 4 hours, 1 to 5, and like stuff like that, and because of college problems, at the moment, the college VMware is actually not really working, so things like Premiere aren't actually working and stuff like that, and like, it's, it's a bit buggy and stuff like that, so we got to leave a bit earlier. But basically, in this day we looked at logos, so we looked at logo types. I'll show you the work I'm talking about. Basically working out what kind of logos and stuff. This all comes back from our summer work that was create our production company. So a wordmark logo, for example, is a word-based logo. And we started looking at logos, kind of breaking them down. We also carried on from the previous day's activities and finished those off. I think the logos types are pretty easy for me. It was a small activity. It's basically saying what a logo is and giving examples. I think that went pretty well. And overall, I think this day was very short. We only did that logos activity and kind of finishing off work because of the VMware problems and stuff like that. But I think it went pretty well. It's just a nice simple day. Not much really happened. Okay, now we're going into Friday. Friday is our biggest day. We're into college at 9 till 5, so it's the day where we're actually, I'm probably I'll be talking most about Friday. So Friday in the morning was broken down into 2 parts. Sorry. So in the Friday in the morning, we've done a college survival guide. So this was basically going to go to like year 1, stuff like that. And it's basically kind of like a pretty serious video about like what college expectations, stuff like that, and a pretty simple video. This was kind of a group activity. So basically, me and my friends decided to film the footage together and work on the ideas together, but we would edit separately. This created some problems as we haven't really nailed down that group dynamics part yet. That's something I really want to nail down. So we did have some teething issues, I'll admit, that led to kind of it taking a bit longer than I personally would have wanted. But we did get it done in the end. I thought the survival guide was pretty good. The idea was pretty simple. It was basically having an interview between 2 people. I thought we could have gone a bit more creative, but we were limited to time and stuff like that. And I think due to the time limit, like to edit, film, stuff like that, I think we've done pretty well. But if I had more time, I think I would do something a bit more fun. And overall, I think the morning went pretty well. I had some teething issues, obviously, that I mentioned with the group activity, but I think it went pretty well. And then the evening was when the kind of problems with VMware started again. So basically, we started animating our logos. So before a movie, you have a lot of studio logos. I think the Disney Castle, that's like a little animation. We got to do that for our production company. So what we done was we saved each individual asset of our logo. So for example, Rebel Productions has 3 assets. I'll show them on the screen now. So the Rebel, the Dynamite Productions, we saved them all individually. So then we can go in Premiere and like kind of animate it and move it around. Here's the problem: VMware currently the Premiere doesn't work, and the only college computers that have Premiere that does work were taken. So we actually weren't able to get this done today, and this was something that we'll transfer over in the next week. That's a shame because I really enjoyed it, but I think what we've done so far, and I've had some ideas of what we could do, I think it's pretty good. So overall, I think this day went pretty well. There was, obviously, I think we were having some teething issues in the first week, and this is why it's a bit of a shorter reflective log, because VMware's not working, we're getting back to that college schedule. But I think today went pretty well. Survival Guide was fun, and the starting to animate a logo was pretty interesting. So I'm excited for next week, and now I'll just do a kind of an overall wrap up, and set myself a target for next week. Okay, that was my first week at college on year 2. I thought it went overall, if I'm talking overall status, pretty well. I did have some teething issues with the college computers and stuff like that, and it was my first week, so it's going to take a bit to get back into the groove. But I thought, I'd done pretty well. I understood the work and understood what the expectations are for year 2. So now basically each week I'm going to talk about pro or con and then a target. So for example, this week I said my pro has definitely been my editing. The portfolio piece and especially the show reel I thought went really well. They were nicely edited and stuff like that. And I think I really nailed down what should be in them and how to edit it quickly. So that's something good because I'm focused on editing this year. Whereas on the other side, I felt that my biggest disadvantage, or my biggest kind of con to say that, would be the written work. Especially the analysis. I thought, when I'm looking back on it now, I thought the analysis was kind of weak. It didn't really have that kind of detail that should be in there, and I think I should have focused on more websites that fit my kind of theme. Maybe look at brighter colour websites, how they incorporate the colour into their website, because obviously yellow is one of my core colours, so it'd be good to kind of incorporate, look at how other companies use these bright colours. So that goes into my target. My main target is going to be smart. I'll put up the anagram for smart right now. This is how I'll measure all my targets. And basically, this week's target is kind of to look more into portfolio sites and sizzle reel to kind of strengthen my analysis work. I'm thinking that I should look into one more for each. So one more website, one more kind of sizzle reel to kind of really strengthen that work. So that's overall my target. I will see you next week for my second week of my year 2 course.